Welcome to the Kaur.tv podcast, where big energy meets big ideas and fearless conversations light the fire. We're talking real stories, real people, and real impact, from trailblazers to everyday legends. This is your space to level up, get loud, and feel unstoppable. So plug in, turn it all the way up, and let's shake things up, because this isn't just a podcast, it's a vibe, it's a tribe, it's a movement. And now, here's your host, Kaur.
3, 2, 1, drop it.
Welcome to the show today, Pritpal. So happy you've said yes and you're here.
Thank you, Manny. You know what? Really appreciate it. Obviously, thank you for having me as well.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've met you twice now, and the two times that I've met you, once was at the floods event. The floods event.
Yeah.
Second time at your studio, where you invited me to look at your latest animation. And both those times I was moved, and I thought to myself, right, okay, I've got to get Pritpal to get onto the show and to share your vision and to share your journey with my listeners and our viewers as well. So you're the founder of I'm 1313.
That's right. I am 1313. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I thought, to give some little justice, I'm going to give a little brief so the viewers and listeners can get a little insight into who is Pritpal.
Sure.
Who is I'm 1313? Yeah?
Yeah.
So
far away.
Okay. Yeah. Right, okay. Pritpal's on a mission to enrich lives through Sikh philosophy, film, animation, music, art, and books, blending spirituality with creativity in the most beautiful way. Pritpal's work explores identity, culture, and storytelling, and is all about spreading a message of spiritual oneness and connection. He's a heartfelt soul, dedicated to serving others and celebrating heritage and meaning. I'm literally honoured that I am sharing your journey, and I don't know whether that gave as much justice, but that's what I put together. That's what I think that I'm 1313 is, and that's what I feel like.
Yeah, first of all, obviously, again, just thank you for having me, Manny, and I appreciate, you taking the time out, coming to the studio. For me, I can tell I'm an energy kind of person, and what I mean by that is that it's not people's words that I take. If I feel a connection, and genuinely, and I mean this, when you came down that day to the studio, the first surprise that you came down, because it was kind of last minute.
Yeah. And
you traveled all the way from Birmingham. But for me, what resonated with me, what made me want to come down today, when you asked, is that you kind of radiated genuinely that you wanted to help. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that on camera either. And I thought, you know what? Wow, you came there. First of all, I thought you weren't going to attend, but you made the effort. But the passion, the enthusiasm for the project, it was genuine. It wasn't a tick box. And I'm quite reluctant. I have to sometimes go on these talks and do certain talks, but the organisation is never about anybody. That's one thing. I've tried to make it always about the work. The whole objective is anyone that does seva, especially for the organisation, it isn't about that. We're trying to get away from, having labels and taking credit. The idea is that it's about the work and about the relationship and connection it brings. I'm about, feeling. And definitely when you came down, you left me with a feeling of a friend. And I thought, you know what? And I thought, if Manny wants to make this much of an effort, to get the story out there and to share the work, then I've got to make the effort to attend.
I do. I mean, honestly, I felt like a massive energy, but also about what you stand for and what you've created so far, from the music to the books to the just, all the literature that you've put together. It's incredible. And I feel like, for me, to be very honest, I've only recently come across you, which was at the floods charity thing. And I'm thinking, wow, like you need to be exposed. Like I need to share you. So I'm really, really happy that you've actually come today and you've said yes as well. So I want to learn more and I want to share you. So I'm going to dive straight in and ask for you to tell us what inspired you to start I'm 1313.
Yeah, so what really started?
Actually, can I just go one step back?
Of course you can.
I'm 1313. Yeah. And we know that the other way of abbreviation or whichever way
so
in
it is,
Punjabi
it's
is
Sikhi. It's I am 1313.
Mm-hmm.
And just to give kind of background around kind of a name of the organisation, At that time, obviously, we'd started creating the album My Best Friend, and that was one of the first projects we started. But we didn't have an organisation name, didn't have an organisation. It was just, we started just with the intention of doing some seva, making content. However, we came to a position that we thought we had to establish something. And like anything, you need a name to, So one of the things we try and do is, the people behind the team, and unfortunately, after I'm here sitting here taking credit for something, there's in there, and I mean this. It isn't me doing this. We are blessed to do what we do, and it's entirely powered in terms of the. I always say you can only do what you're able to do, right? Guru takes your hands away, you can't write. We're only able to do, give if we've got those tools to give. So that time when we were kind of debating some names, I would see the number 1313 everywhere, kind of just like you do, right? I just seen it I said number plates, I see it on clocks for about a month. And I said, you know what? I just see the numbers there everywhere, right? Let's call it, like 1313. However, one of the...
It's my favourite number as well, because I was born on the 13th, so...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's a blessing, too.
Yeah.
She's 13, right? So, however, one of the other founders who'd worked, on the initial project with me said, look, what about the word imbue? And we became a bit loggerheads, kind of, I'm thinking 13, and him, suggesting imbue, right? I said, look, like anything, why don't you let the Guru, pick a name for us, right? This is for, this is seva driven, but it's for the Guru, right? So at that time, one of the third members of the team at that time sent a cyber hukamnama. And like anything, when he sent the hukamnama, I was trying to find, how do you find 1313 in the hukamnama? So going through, and I could see in the translations with the words imbue, right, everywhere. So I was like, all right, you kind of, Guru said it's going to be imbue, right? It's decided, right? What can I say? Because I can't find anything, here. Yeah. However, the third party of the team said, well, stop a minute. He said, look, when the cyber hukamnama was shared in the group, and it's at the exact times 1313.
So you took that and ran with that, yeah.
So the hukamnama was Maharam Wallah Panjwa, but we took the I am from imbue and the 1313. And obviously, it kind of reads almost like I'm yours, right? And which is exactly what we do, right? So again, we couldn't even a name like that, you probably couldn't fathom or make up. And that was inspired and obviously blessed and given to us by Guru Sahib. So the organization is I am 1313. I am Tera. Yeah.
So what inspired you to start this kind of seva?
At that time, I just had my child, and I remember, I definitely think when you have a child, your perspective in life changes, and you want them to have the best in life. And I remember surrounding himself with like Gurbani and certain things in terms of watching content on TV, and also as a father in my life, Waheguru has always protected me. Always, even when I've been down, and there's times that I've been saved time and time again. And you look back at their moments, they're pivotal moments in your life. And your parents aren't there, your friends aren't there, but there's times that there's intervention, and that we're lucky if you can recognize their moments that God has, Waheguru has intervened and saved you. And I wanted my child to have that.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not going to be able to be there every second of his life, and I wanted him to have the best protection. I've had the grace and the blessings, and that protection from Waheguru. And I thought, how can I give him that? And so I wanted to give him a relationship. We, back in the day, I was blessed to have it through my grandma.
Yeah.
We'd tell her, Sakia, but life had changed. Life, how life is now. People are working, like social media, TV. There's a lot more distraction. And what I noticed was he'd watch things on TV and like nursery rhymes, and I realised that sometimes even songs or jingles that he would be watching, I would remember.
The nursery rhymes, yeah.
But a really bad example is that you see kids in 6, 7, right? Yeah. Don't know what it means, but just kids doing it, you pick it up. So I thought to myself, look, maybe there's something in it. We could, create something that could be catchy for the children, could capture attention, because you are fighting for the attention. The reality is that, you're fighting with the world's best broadcasters, content on TV now, YouTube, whatever. You can't just give them content and expect them just to learn.
Yeah.
You are fighting for their attention. And, that's what whole big media industries are doing. So I thought we need to raise our level of our content. Because as I started going through the work, content on YouTube, what we had, for me anyway, I thought it wasn't
updated.
It was updated, yeah. And I don't want to criticize anyone's server because everyone's put their heart in it. But if I say compared to where it could be, where the aspirations are, if you look at people like what Disney were creating, or the Warner Brothers or the big studios, I felt we were kind of lacking.
Yeah.
So
massively,
yeah. So I started off with this.
If you even take it back to your childhood, we didn't have those nursery rhymes, or we didn't have like the visual, did we?
That's right. Yeah.
I don't feel like we did. And even the books that I remember that my we would get like at Punjabi school at the Godra or something like that. It used to be on like a really like flimsy paper, almost like a tracing paper, and the print was bad.
That's right.
The imagery was. It wasn't a book that we were used to handling or reading or seeing, and it wasn't available for us. So I feel anyway.
And I think if you look at the content, reality is it's not where it could be. And you think about those, and that's without the distractions. We didn't have those phones in the back of the day. We didn't have iPads. You went there, we kind of were saved from those distractions. And like, I always think, our car stories are the best. I think, realities are, I think history and our story are so amazing. When my grandma narrated their stories, your hairs on your neck would stand up and you'd be inspired, right? So also, how can we can't start creating content? Because we have to treat our children as if they are Westerners. What I mean by that, they're a blank canvas. Because if we say like Jagat Guru, it's a guru for the world, right? A lot of the content that Sikhs watch, we have a sympathetic reason to watch it because we're invested already as Sikhs.
Yeah.
But the reality is that, does it break beyond that audience? And it probably doesn't, because they don't give you that initial attention, right? So this is where the first project, My Best Friend, I started rhyming. Just a song came on a nursery rhyme and I thought, I just, for whatever reason, rhymed about something over it, Sikh related. I thought, that sounded quite good, right? And I started, there's a song called My Best Friend, which is like, I thought, let me tell my child who his real best friend is, right, in his life, that it isn't me or his friends, it's Waheguru, right? Let me establish those words and affirmations in his mind. And from that, we just became writing. We started writing, and then we realized that actually, it isn't that difficult. Maybe Guru had blessed us with, a certain
Is
talent.
music your background by any chance, or playing instruments or nothing?
No, yeah, so nothing media related, no. So it was just almost, poetically writing these things. And then Nick, who would work with me at the time, started writing. We started writing these songs and nursery rhymes. We thought, look, we have something here to give back. However, like anything, we had to find singers and producers. So first of all, we tried Keith Denise to sing over it, and we realized that they didn't sound, commercial. Because they sounded, and we started realizing that, people's voices, depending on what genre they sang in, they could just suddenly just transfer those skill sets. If you sang in Punjabi, it doesn't mean you could then sing in English, right? Because they use different parts of their mouth. So our next part was to find singers. We found like Taran. So I went online and found Taran Kaur was, I think, initially someone that, could sing, in Sikh, but also sing in English. Then we tried to find a Mel, went up and down, literally California, went global to find someone. Then, funny enough, found Navin Kundra. It was, again, both those people happened to be no more than 2 miles from my house. However, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't know either of them before. Mm-hmm. And we had gone like to California and everywhere, and up and down the world. And then we started looking for music producers. And we found one person there, and it didn't quite work out, which was a blessing, because we ended up finding someone in London, which is our current producer, and he was phenomenal. And he became a great, a great tool for us to kind of create really commercial content. So as you see, the production from the album is very commercial. Yeah, and then you got songs as you in the studio.
So when you say commercial, you mean to obviously your target audience, as you said initially, that it is obviously children, but it's relatable to today's children. That's what you're trying to say, yeah. So like, not the raggis and the kirtanis that you have at the Gurdwara as such.
Yeah, a lot.
Something that they can actually connect with.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to, we're not trying to give content to the ones that already know, right? The Gurbani is the ultimate.
Yeah.
I don't, this is, however, kids are watching other things like Peppa Pig, watching other things, right? It's kind of trying to fill those gaps. It's like, how can we give them content that's as good as those things that could also be educational, give them something spiritual and educational, right? So the album became, the first catalyst, and we were quite lucky enough, like, we'd written a song called Jada Sebza. As we were in the studio, the songs got more advanced, we got more kind of, and Sanatam, kindly, she heard the production and she was blown away. She was in tears. She was like, this is amazing. And she featured on the album as Seva, and the album did incredibly well.
What year was this?
2017, I think, or 16.
So that's initially when you launched, would you say? That's when as in I'm 1313 was created.
That was a birth, yeah. So we started, I think it was officially launched in 2016.
So with the outcome of the first album, did it surprise you with the feedback that you got, or did it exceed your expectations? How did that work out?
Yeah, the amazing thing was it definitely did exceed expectations. I don't think we had any expectations. I think the funny thing was, at that time we're so consumed in the seva that we just wanted to make something, and lucky enough, collectively we had put this one thing and have the sangat around us that supported us. But, I think, with the project, the impact, because we actually had children rehearsing before that. We actually got children that sang on the album. So 6 weeks prior to kind of them going to the studio, we kind of really went above and beyond, making sure.
Did you have a lot of fun with it?
Amazing, the best feeling ever. I think
it looks like a lot of fun when I've seen the videos. It looks fun with all the kids. They look like they're in sync, they're in rhythm, they're just enjoying themselves, and they're learning. It's an experience you gave them,
Yeah, the kids are incredible. I mean, the amount of work behind those things is a lot. I mean, the amount of people that helped us out, the amount of time they took out, bringing their children there to rehearse every week. I was so thankful. And like I said, Seva was great. We're quite lucky that we're able to do something creatively.
Where did Seva come from for you? Like what?
Yeah, for me,
because sometimes, not everyone is blessed with that, with Seva. So how did it come?
Yeah,
to you?
So tell you what, I'm by all means not the perfect person, and I don't like to speak on camera. I'm only, like I said, I genuinely mean this. After and you all know, Manny, you have to kind of rope me into these things and force me into it, right? But I have to feel like there's a bigger reason for doing that. And I always say that, we don't choose the seva chooses us. And we get an opportunity to do something. And that I don't know what that calling is for anybody, but sometimes I think you feel it. That time, having a child and seeing that I could do something, maybe that right, that there's potential to do something, to give back.
I think a child kind of gives you like a purpose.
100%, yeah.
As soon as you have a kid, your whole perspective of life just completely just changes, doesn't it? And you're more, I don't know, I'll speak for myself, purpose driven.
Yeah, I mean, look,
you're just like
your life changes completely. I mean, for me, my life is about my children. In terms of the worldly life, besides everything else, you clothe your children before you feed your children before you feed yourself, right? Their means and their welfare comes before yours, and that changes being a parent. And it's same, and maybe that was definitely like an inspiration, and wanted them to have the same protection that I had.
Yeah.
To be not in a situation where I thought, when the chips are down and life's getting tough or something isn't working out. One thing I learned very, very early on was that nobody's ever going to, regardless who you are, how good or bad and things you've done in your life, no one is ever going to love you like Waheguru and God, Guru. And you are not going to experience that. That protection, you can't have that. It's not going to come from your friends, not going to come from your families. That's, something you have to experience.
Yeah.
And I think I was quite lucky enough that I made mistakes. I am generally, and I mean this, I'm not a good person. But when I seen what Guru did for me at my low points, when I truly didn't deserve it, and I still don't deserve it, it made me realize that love that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is given to Sajjan Tag and Kaur Rakesh, it's like beyond human. We can't compare that love. That love is different. And I think when you're in that position of being the other person on the other side, you think, I'm not really deserving of that love.
And that's one of the most beautiful things that you've said there as well. And what I take from that is that with Waheguruji, like sometimes in our darkest times when we can't forgive ourselves, Waheguruji is like beyond, like he will forgive you in any circumstances and allow you to redeem yourself and to connect back.
That's right. I think, in life, I think we, like anything, you live to please people, right? And include myself. But, when you experience, and I'm sure all of us at some point, we've had times, if we're lucky enough to have, God in our life and Waheguru in life, and we're able to lean on Waheguru and something, we feel that moment of love or that moment of being picked up when we're down. There's nothing like it.
No.
And and that's something that for especially like I said for me, having that, that's the biggest thing. I've been very blessed to recognize that. And I know I've got so many shortcomings and I've got so many things I need to do in my life. But for my children, I want that foundation. I want that that security. That when I'm not, there's only so many years I've got left in my life, right? And I'm in my mid-40s. I don't know how many years I'm going to be on this earth, but when I do go, that they've got, I know they're in safe hands.
The reality of it is that they're going to have their pain, they're going to have their suffering, but when they do have that, what are they going to do? Are they going to cave in, or are they just going to try and connect with the divine love and try and connect with Waheguruji and, that to just know that they've been taken care of?
Yeah, look, I always look at life, the sliding door moments in everyone's life, and you can probably pinpoint when you look back at it that my life could have gone this way, or my life could have gone that way, or whatever, right? And you look at those situations, people you meet, the person you marry, the job you get, all these different things, impact your life, right? The decision, the person you marry, then the kids you have, all impact. All the decisions have like this massive ripple effect. That's right. So, and where are these decided? Where are these moments? Like some people call it luck or bad luck, whatever, right? These are moments in life that shape us.
I call them miracles.
They're miracles, yeah. Everything, like
miracles.
That's what I said to Baji earlier on. The Guru said, "Dukdaru sukarapeya, just sukatamno." In that duk in life, sometimes you don't realize that's a reminder. That's your sometimes. It's the biggest blessing going, because that's in your darkest time is when you feel that love. It's when you feel that connection.
Yeah.
And tell you what, the funny thing is when you go back to everyday life and things are going per se well, you don't have that same, sometimes you lose that heartfelt connection when you really, and I've had plenty of those moments on both sides. So yeah, I'm blessed to do what I do. And I genuinely mean this. I don't think I do anything, and that's the power of it. The reality is, I'm a testament to Waheguਰੂ, and what I mean by that, I've got no media background. I've no, previous media, experience, but just wanting to do something, maybe that intention, for whatever reason it was, Guru said, "Oh, you want to do it, and you want to do it for, you want to do this. Maybe, maybe it's from your heart, right? You want to do it. Then I'm going to empower you to do that." Yeah. I'm going to give you the tools and resources that people are going to think, how did he do that? How's that God? There's got no skill set, no ability. How was he able to do that? But it's not me doing it. And I learned that very early on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story as well. I was lucky enough to do a search board once. And at the end of it, for some reason I wanted to do it. At the end of it, I thought it'd be great to do a kid's book. And I started, I had a concept years ago called it's called the Sikh for Kids book, and this is going back maybe 20 years ago. And my brother-in-law, who's an artist at the time, he was studying graphic design. I got him he started designing these characters. I thought, these would be great as a children's book, like an activity book. And I thought, you know what, let me get someone to write it. And I actually tried to find others to write the book. And they weren't, when I was reading it, I didn't feel the connection. So, and me to try to find someone else to do it. Then I thought, let me do it myself. Because obviously I wasn't able to do it. And I found road safety books. And I copied the format and the structure in terms of the learning process. remember going to W.H. Smith and buying one. And that book, at the end of it, when we put it together, we did it for a charity called Share Charity. I said, I don't want my name on it because I'm not an artist. There's no purpose for me to have this name on it. But I credited my brother-in-law because at that time he was inspiring. He was potentially going to be a graphic designer, right? Which he ended up being something else as a profession. But that book, when it went out, it did really well. It kept selling and selling and selling. I thought, that's amazing. I didn't put my name on it.
Mm-hmm.
That when I took my name off it and just let it go and handed it over Seva, Guru sent it everywhere. It just and people say, "Wow, this book keeps selling, right?" I think that time it had gone to multiple countries, and I think to this day it might be selling. And I thought, and I realized something very quickly that once you release it from your hands and you put it into Waguru's hands, it goes much further. When you put it to your ability, it's restricted to your resource and your ability to get it over the line. But if you just say, look, this isn't mine, this is for you, Guru Sahib, right?
This is yours.
The magic happens. And that's when...
That's what I've been brought up to believe as well, like to take the me out of it. And this is yours. This is you. And once you hand it over and you surrender the outcome, it's beautiful.
It is, yeah. And that's where the power is. And that's actually one of the inspirations of the organisation. Said, look, no one's going to... And sometimes you're forced to go in the camp. Like I said, even like now, I remember, I read a Saki once, and they said, that someone that wants to do something, as in Geet and whatever, right, shouldn't do it, and someone that doesn't want to do should do it. And what I understood by that was that ego works both ways. Sometimes you want to do something, and you want to do it because you want to get praise, right? And sometimes you don't want to do something because you're conscious what other people are going to think here. Still ego both ways, right? So those are the things, when I come on like podcasts like this, sometimes it becomes a necessity. And I think, like, I think the way you came over and the compassion and, the enthusiasm you showed for the Seva and how you were moved and you moved us is what makes me want to come here and realize that, it's important to share the story. Because if it helps one person, if it inspires someone else to do Seva, just do it. Go ahead and try it. If you want to do it and it's from your heart, then do it. Then nothing's impossible, right? If you got a good intention to do something, first thing Guru Sahib, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Once you'd done that first album, how quick then did you start moving on to the next project, and what kind of support network did you need to keep moving?
So tell you what, there's many miracles, and I probably haven't got enough time to tell you about all of them, right? But the reality is that I remember when we did the album, I was tunnel vision. When we had done the album, that's all I was thinking about. I'd got almost...
How did you feel? Like it's launched, it's out there now, all that hard work, that Seva's out there?
So tell you what, I've always, funny enough, I've always been happy seeing other people happy. Weirdly enough, more than my own happiness, and that's something I've recognized as a kid. I've always had joy for other people, them being happy, but, over my happiness, right? So I think when it had the impact it had, it was great. And it wasn't great in the sense that it was like, oh yeah, we did this. Mm-hmm. It was great to see the impact it was having. It was great to see that we had resource, that we created something, that we were blessed to create something, should I say, that was, beneficial, that kids were coming back. I remember, the feedback and some of the messages from the parents and the kids, those meant a lot. Yeah. It wasn't that we did the project. It wasn't that it was highly successful, because it did really well. And it was like number one on the world genre charts. It did it did really, really well. And it got, obviously, the feedback was great. But it's the messages that, when you hear, oh, my kid learned this, or my kid was asking me this question about the Gurus because of that. I've been crying out for some resource like this and for our school. Now I've got it. Those are the things that really resonated and made me feel, I'm really glad that we did it.
Makes it feel so worth it.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yes, it wasn't the recognition. There's never been the recognition. For me, if anything, I don't need that. That's not what I'm driven by. The truth is, even when we did that album, I remember, our team, we started off like anything. The energy goes. You put a lot of energy in it. The team starts slowly drifting off. They got, you go back into your worldly pursuits. And I remember, at that point, I thought, what, the team have kind of drifted now a little bit. Their mind has now gone off it, right? They're kind of, the energy's gone. And I tried to give the Seva away. That's the truth of it. I remember having the album And I spoke to about 3-4 different organizations. Said, look, the energy of the team's gone here, but for whatever reason, they never took it. Everyone's like, yeah, we'll take it, but they never acted upon it. Mm-hmm. Then a year later, I'd met one of my people that co-founded. At that time, I was a bit upset when they were distracted and other things, because at that time, my heart and soul had gone into it, and I was driven to do more things. But we got back together, we started talking again. He said, we should do a lullaby. We should do, a visual for the lullaby. And I was like, we should, but we haven't got we only got a certain amount of money in the account. And at that time, lucky enough, I'd met a person called Ben who we'd kind of just had a conversation about some potential work a year or so before that. And he'd shared something on Facebook. I don't normally respond to people on Facebook, but he'd shared a post, and I'd kind of, like an ABC, choose one of the illustrations that I've designed, right? And I just selected one. And he just thanked me. He just said, oh, thank you for responding. So we're out that day with my friend Nick, and he said, we should create something. I said, look, we haven't got a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But however, there's one artist called Ben. And I said, oh, look, he's a bit more braver than me. He said, look, why don't you go and ask him? I'll give you his number. See what he says for that price, because it wasn't a lot of money, by the way, right? And he asked, and he said, yeah. And I would say, the rest is history. Once we got in touch with Ben, like anything, the problem with us, projects consume us. And what I mean by that, we're perfectionists. And that's probably one thing that we try and I'm not satisfied until we've given it everything. Mm. But the project was a Guru Song Lullaby, which obviously did millions of views, right? And that was a kind of, I said, the rebirth of the organization. And then from that, then the books came, which you've seen. Mm-hmm. Then the Shabbat, the Garbani album, Sachkhand, and now obviously the latest project which we're actually working on, which is an amazing 3D animation for Shabbat Puta Mata Ki Aziz.
So with regards with you rely a lot on sponsors.
Yeah,
it's charity based, yeah?
Yeah, so yeah.
That can't be easy, yeah? Because a lot of people,
no,
I feel like, what would be the downfall of that? Because
So tell what I'll tell you, we were very lucky enough, and I mean this, we'd spent thousands of pounds. People don't realise how much animation and things cost. You can only, think what Disney spend on an animation, right, at the top scale. But even a series that you might watch on Netflix or on whatever, these shows are expensive. Mm. They cost tens and hundreds of thousands. Bigger productions, millions. That's the reality. That's
and
just
bigger teams.
Yeah, they don't. And people see an animation on TV and think, oh, that was it. But it depends on quality and nuance. And that's what, for me anyway, I've always tried to focus on really high-end production. I want to create an experience. It isn't about isn't an ego thing. I want to make sure that they feel it. When they hear a Shabbat or when they hear or they read a book, it's an experience. And there's a connection. Mm. That's why the books are like soft touch. Mm. They're beautiful illustrations. You have this song. You have this multi-sensory experience where you can hear it, you can read it, you can hear the song.
The quality in these books just says it all, though.
Yeah, and that's right. And I didn't, even the books, like you said, the very soft touch feel. They aren't paperback. I wanted to create something that people would cherish. Mm. So these are like the kind of the principles. But like I said, in terms of funding, lucky enough, a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, we were blessed to have someone come on board that was able to sponsor me. But even that, these productions are like, they are, it's not a one-man team. To build an animation, you don't need a man, you need teams. Mm. But lucky enough, Guru Kirpa, someone was able to sponsor me. And then before that, even to this day, we still put this one thing there. It takes a lot more money than that to get these projects over the line. And, you've seen one of the animations we've done, right? You see how much work's gone into it. You guys...
the attention to detail is just...
Yeah, and it generally is to create that feeling. So it is a lot of work. Anybody that ever wants to support our project, it is entirely non-profit. It is, our purpose isn't to make money. If anything ever comes back, it only touches the surface of what goes out. Mm. And we will say, when we meet a lot of people, what they say, money, a lot of things that when you make it, how much money are you going to make back? And I'm like, I'm disassociated with that because that's not a goal. Our goal, I want to hear that, it changed someone's life. It took someone. I remember we did the book festival, for example. We did the Guru Song Adventure book, which was the first book we did. I had a parent come back and they said, you know what, I can't tell you, can I just, as a Facebook message, said, look, I've seen your book online, and I was, he was a Sikh person that married, his wife was Hindu. Mm-hmm. He said, because I've seen the books and this look beautiful online. I thought, I've got to get this because, again, same thing, someone that normally probably wouldn't buy a religious book. I want to buy it because I thought it looks beautiful, but also the fact that it's Sikh based, I want to give my child something that can learn about my faith as well.
Yeah.
And he goes, I bought it, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something amazing. And my child, he's having these nightmares. And he goes, we've tried to tackle these nightmares, and for whatever reason, it's not worked. And he goes, the other day he came down, he said to me, Dad, I don't have the nightmares anymore. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, the Guru came in my dream. I thought, wow.
It's like taking something away from...
I mean, to have your Guru come in your dream, right? I don't know what kind of blessing that is, but this is a kid that wasn't exposed to probably Gurmat or, maybe not in the Gurdwara, right? Mm. But that not went away, learnt about the Guru, learnt the Guru's names, right? Which many Punjabis probably don't even know, right? That's a reality, right? That in the book, you chant Waheguru throughout the book, right? Mm-hmm. This is part of the experience of the book. But then they even had the Guru come in the dream. And these are the things and experiences that move us and motivate us to do more. And that's what we're driven by. But it definitely isn't about money. It's all about creating these experiences. And we're pushing to create even bigger and better content that will hopefully, again, create more experiences for more people.
Yeah. But with regards with that, I mean, that must have a toll on your personal life as well, in terms of...
Oh, massively, yeah.
The time that you're investing.
Yeah.
Doing this, like, what kind of impact has that had on your personal life?
I don't
What's
think,
been your
lows? I don't think people realise, how much work goes in behind the scenes. I'm trying to, problem solve. That's right. And when you're creating an animation, it's problem solving. So it does consume your mind. You are like anything. Even though you're not running a business, it is like running a business, right? There's many things you have to think about, and creatively as well, because you want to create great content and manage things that sometimes don't work. You can create something that doesn't quite work, and you think it isn't there, and we're not going to put something out. We don't feel it isn't, but it isn't always highs. Behind the scenes, I can tell you now, there's many times that there's been tears, and that is the truth, because like anything, and this is, I suppose, even when we had someone come on to support us, I can tell you we're at our lowest point, and really we had nothing left, and I don't want to go too much into the story, but when I would say like the chips were down, we had nothing, and all we were relying on was Guru Sahib. That Guru Sahib came through, and somebody came and, I won't say bailed us out, but at a critical time, allowed us to keep going and creating content, and I'm forever grateful. And that for me was just another motivation that Guru saying, keep going, keep creating these things, right? Like this miracle that happened, it was a miracle. However, our aspirations to go much further. We want to create films like, I want to see these films selfishly, like the Battle of Jim Kaur, right? I want to see like films like on the level of 300 and Gladiator, right? And I was saying, why is it that difficult? If someone's done it, why is it that difficult? If people have made those things already, we have the hardest part is making the story. The other bits are easy, right? I'm thinking,
our stories are our history and our heritage.
We have got the best stories. The hardest part is done. Creatively, right? There's people in the industry now, like hypothetically, right? You get the best director, you keep you keep someone, Gurmat, keeping the history right and all this part, but we have the best camera people. All these resources are there, but we're not willing to spend on it. What we're thinking, when it's our own our house or our own business, we'll spend. But when it's Sikh stuff, let's just compromise that. Let's just go cheaper. Let's kind of compromise on that, and you compromise on the experience. But if you want to create like the greatest film, we have got the greatest story. Hari Singh Nalawar, all these great stories we have to share with the world. We have to invest in the best people. We have to spend what those other studios do, because you can't create those films and say we're going to do that, but we're going to spend less money, cut down on production, less camera people, less creative people. You need to have, if anything, you need to go above and beyond, right? So for us, it's like, and that's how you change people. Like in 9/11, first person that's killed was Balbir Singh, right? It was a Sikh. Where do you think people get educated now? Do you think, well, kids that watch content, where do we learn, our culture? What do we learn about other people? It's from social media, from TV, right? All these different things.
News, which is just all just
yeah. So for me,
made up.
when you make content, isn't it? It's not just about education. It's edutainment. It's entertaining, and through entertainment, you educate. I know you probably know something about Spartans, about Greek mythology, just by films. How many films have you watched? Biographies, just because it's a film, but you learn a life about some history, right? And this is what we need to do. We've got the best story, but what we're trying to do is we've got the best stories and just hoping something's going to happen. And
someone else is going to do it.
Yeah.
Who is that someone else? Yeah.
We don't do it. Who else is going to do it? And then we moan when other people do it and it's watered down. That's the reality, right? So, we have got one of the greatest communities in the world. We give so much. We have the institution of Langar and the things that we do globally, right? We have a Gurdwara. I remember that time Passion of Christ came out, and Passion of Christ was like 19 million pounds. I think $30 million, right? I was in New York at the time. And I thought, why? And I watched Passion of Christ 4 times and actually cried. I thought, how have we not made a film like that on that level when we got Gurdwara in Southall for like 19 million pounds and they paid for it?
Yeah.
If one community could build a Gurdwara, how have we not globally been able to create something that can impact the whole world and just educate the people on who the Sikhs are and what their history is and what they've done for the world and their contributions? Why haven't we done that?
Yeah.
And for me, I can't. To this day, I can't figure that out. And I think one of the things is we're not willing to invest in those things. And the day we do, I think our recognition for the Sikhs and our history will definitely surpass anything because our stories are amazing.
With your creative work, obviously, it's got a lot. It's completely centered on like Sikh philosophy and heritage and everything like that. Did you feel at any time discomfort or that thing of, am I doing this right? Because I know that there's a lot of that kind of police that come out, you're doing this wrong and you shouldn't have said this and you shouldn't have done. And there's a lot of, sometimes with the good, there's a lot of people that are not doing it themselves, but they're ready to criticize.
Yeah, I think.
Did you get any
So tell you what, I suppose as you get older, the great thing is you become less worried about people's opinions. And I think, we always try and do things right. And what I mean by that, I try and take precautions in things I do and ask and liaise with the right people and, see what creatively is acceptable, is maybe the right word, right? But the intention is always to do good. And the intention is there for people to learn. The intention is there to get people close to Guru. So, in anything in life, whatever you do, you're gonna face praise and criticism, and neither are good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the best thing is to ignore it and keep walking forward.
Yeah.
Which I've been blessed as, a good thing when you're in your 40s, right? You become less conscious of what people think.
Definitely.
So So for us, it's purpose driven. What people think and say, unless there's genuinely something that's been done wrong, 100%. Again, I'm only human. I make more mistakes than anybody else. But if it's criticism, it generally, when I've gone into their profiles, is people that opinion you wouldn't be too worried about.
Yeah, exactly.
To say it politely, yeah.
So with regards with getting actual sponsors as well, what's been like the drawback of that? Like what's been, because some people are very like, yeah, I'll sponsor you. And then all of a sudden, like you don't hear from them. And then you just like, oh, okay.
So based on that, honestly, the biggest that I've noticed, one of the biggest things is at the moment, we're funded by our team, and we have someone that supports me to keep doing what I do. But in terms of the projects, we all put this one thing there. We have, our local, friends and connections.
So let's just give a little bit of what you're saying, the Das Fund.
Das Fund, yeah. So that's one. So
do that as well.
Yeah, so I was looking at, you put 1/10 of your wages aside, and that, given to Seva. So minimum, you give back. And I've always found that, Guru says the 3 things, right? Right? Like earn honestly.
Yeah.
Share what you earn, share whatever that may be, your time, whatever your earnings, right? Yeah. And they're given a number on that 10%.
And remember
other
God.
prophets, and remember God, right? Those anyone in any religion, any foundation, anybody could do that and benefit from that.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, that's what we're doing. The one problem I'll say, and I don't know if you've experienced this, Manny, but people only really support people. They don't support generally their work. So if, on example, one person said to me once, and I had to, initially when I had to get funding for the project, I was a hound and pound. I had to really go out and really be, get some funding, right, and support. And I remember I wouldn't do that for myself because it's for the Civ. I found an extra strength because it's not really my kind of thing, right? But one person said, I've only given you that because so-and-so said so, or because they're my friend. I thought, that's not
a bit
the
like
right...
a social climb, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's not the right...
Or it can be like for their status or to feed their ego. Some people, only like, okay, put my name to that, and this is how much money I've given. We see it in the Godra all the time, don't we? Where, it's like, I've given this much, and then it's like,
and there's no benefit besides getting recognition. But beyond that is nothing, right? So what I would say is that if you want to support somebody, if you want to, if you see anyone that does anything in life, any charity, whatever, right, and you want to support, do it. Don't think, I tell you, do it. Don't wait for someone to ask for help. And if you see an organization and, do your homework, do your research, look at the organizations, but our minds are very fickle. I'm going to tell you something, and I don't want to use myself as a bad example here. We had done some hospital raise for the Birmingham Children's Hospital, a few months ago. So we raised a lot of money, and then a friend of mine asked me for some sponsorship. I thought, I'll best give it now because he will support me. And then we came to the floods event. Janelle and Gibbs obviously asked me to come down. And I thought, I can't sit on this table. They've invited me to a tip box. I've got to make sure I give as well, right? And Baji did a beautiful talk about saving Punjab, and I thought, I was inspired. You're motivated, right? I thought, I've got to give something here. I don't want to say it. I figure in my mind, right? An hour later, my mind's talking me out of it. Oh, you've already given this. You've already done this. And I thought to myself, I told my mind, whoa. You've already committed that in your mind. Just give it. And that is what most people do. In the heat of the moment, we're emotional. We want to support. Then we go home, we go back to work and forget about it. I'll do it next time. And if you want to support a project, if you see the work and you want to come down our studio and see what we do and the work that goes on.
And even that, the studio, I mean, that's a massive step that you've got. I mean, it's beautiful. It's such a lovely creative space to work. That's a blessing in itself, isn't it? That you're actually in that. Yeah,
I'm really lucky. So, with that studio, for example, and we don't fund that. It's actually funded independently. So one of the things we're looking to do, animation projects are expensive, like we said, in the millions, right? So Guru Kirpa, in the last couple of years, somebody funded, not myself, again, this is like the artists like Ben, to create a studio. And the idea is to create independent projects that are going to support 10% is going to go to Sikh projects. Because like you said, the revenue stream of creating, the multi-million-pound films of which you want to do, they aren't there. And we don't get, donations, everything's generally funded through ourselves. So we want to create a revenue stream, but definitely, if the people out there that want to support and see the work, I can tell you now the work is amazing. All the team that put the hard work, and you've seen it, Manny, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I just felt the vibe when I was in that place, and you could just feel that everyone was so driven and so passionate and just cared for this to just excel. Yeah.
And that's for us, and we have a great team of people that want to give back. And when you're around that energy, that want to make a difference, and it is about that. It is about making a difference and giving back. And then only good can come out of it when the foundations are good.
Yeah.
But like anything, to do great projects, to imagine if you want to create great films, then then we need the finances and resources. So if you have a skill set, if you have, you want to contribute to projects, by all means, get in touch with the organization, go on our website, you can support, get in touch, come down and see what we're doing at the moment and the work's going on. We're trying to work on a film at the moment. So the next project is...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, by all means, to all the viewers and the listeners, I'm sure you probably feel the same as well, as do I, that, us having this chat here today, it isn't so much a sales pitch that we're trying to do.
No.
It's actually, I'm just generally just sharing how you do Seva. And there is so many other people that want to do Seva. I mean, I find that when we do it with a Midland Langar Seva, a lot of people say, well, how do I do it? A lot of people don't actually know. They want to do Seva, but they actually don't know which organisation to be part of or what to actually do. And this is why I felt it was necessary to give you this platform, because there are people that are keen to make a difference, that want to give their DOS fund, and they're just not sure where and how, and if they believe or if they, carry that same passion for a project or a campaign or something. So if it's coming across a bit, I just want to say to everyone, it isn't that.
No, yeah.
It's not, we're not saying go sponsor us and do this. No. I'm actually saying it from my heart, because I know that you've poured your heart in this.
I can tell you something.
And it shines.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know how much hard work you put in behind the scenes and your hours and your effort and everything like that. And you said that you're doing other projects on the side to fund this. It's the same with the everyday person.
It's trying to find avenues. And like I said, it generally isn't me. And I mean this. Even I say to people, like, I remember, even when someone gives, even when we have an opportunity to give something, it's not ours. And when we give that daswand, it's not our money, is it?
Not initially.
We can give it, right? That's the money we put. The Guru's like, Vaguru's blessed us with this opportunity in life and these finances and resources we have, but we're able to give 1/10 back. So it's not even ours to give, but we have to do our due diligence, but it's got to be more than just I want to give to my friend because I know him or I know her. I think it's important to understand what the cause and what people are doing, and there's many organizations doing great things. This isn't about I would say anybody, make sure you support organizations regardless, whatever it may be. If someone's doing great work, and I mean, but not as in for themselves, when they're doing great work, for your children, they, whether I'm on the car side, all the people, all whatever it may be, all these organizations that are creating, whether it's Barjar, whether it's food, whatever it may be, if you can support and you're not supporting, support.
Yeah. What's the actual dream now for I'm 13?
So for us now, I mean, for us, the end goal is to create the greatest film ever. And what I mean by that, not just greatest film accolades wise, but to create the greatest film based on our history. Because I think our stories are the best, and that has always been the vision from the very beginning. However, in the immediate future, people are probably seeing the teaser of Buddha Mata Ki Assis, some of the team.
That's yet to come out, isn't it?
That is, yeah. So they've seen the teaser. So February, we should be releasing the full animation, and it's amazing. And what it does, it takes you to Harmandir Sahib, and we wanted people to feel it. And what I definitely just,
I want to add to that, okay?
Yeah.
Because when I watched that, it made me feel like, okay, so the animation is about the two characters, and they go to Harmandir Sahib, and it's their experience as they navigate through that beautiful, harmonious place. And it made me have a feeling, an emotion, and it made me feel like my kids have my older two kids have only been when they were younger, so they don't remember it. We have PTC news on every single evening, and their Eras is playing, so they see on that visionary, but they've not been there. Well, they can't remember it, and the youngest one hasn't been there. Now I haven't been there since 2014 myself, and it pulls me to feel like I want to go there and I want to experience it, and I want my kids to experience it through these lens as well. And it's just beautiful, and the attention to detail that you've got in that visionary is just animation. It's just brilliant. You've just done you've executed it so beautifully, and even the sound, the melody behind it as well, it sets off a different emotion, and it does give you an experience. So everyone just definitely should watch it and appreciate it, because I thought it was fantastic. It moved me. Yeah,
and one of the things, like I said, just seeing it move people, I think what reinforces and motivates us to do more. And when people see it, I definitely think they'll be in for a treat, in the sense that it will take you to and give you some experience. Probably not had before, in the sense, unless you've directly been there, right? But the goal is always to keep growing and create content. And we are working now on a 13-minute almost animation, which we're trying to get some funding for and some support. And we're in the process of doing this at the moment. We've got Dilpreet Kaur, who's helping us write the script. The story's been written, but she's trying to develop this into a script. She's worked on Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, and it's kind of a mix of like Pritpal and Simran, kind of Polar Express, the Goonies, kind of go on this adventure, and they learn about the Sikh and the Naam, right? And they go home on the side. They experience all these beautiful things. It's a beautiful story, right? Mm-hmm. But in that story, they learn so much about Gurmat, about Gurbani, about the teachings, right? The philosophy, but in a way that anybody from any background can watch it and just say it's a beautiful story.
And that's a core value, isn't it? So the fact that you were trying to attract not just Sikh people and teach them and give them a lesson, but you're actually trying to teach other cultures, religions, and just share the oneness.
Yeah, 100%. In the story, so there's a Simran and Pritpal feature in it, but in the story there's a Afro-Caribbean kid with him. There's a like a white kid. They go on the journey with not just Sikhs, right? And I wanted to. We've got the Hamundar side. There's 4 entrances. The inner God that anyone can come and visit. The langar is there for everybody, but there's certain people that don't realise that. We know the ones that do, right? But there's many that don't.
Yeah.
We have the greatest stories, but they don't know our stories.
Yeah.
So it's really just finding ways to share our rich history, our beautiful stories, and what we've been blessed with the world. And we're trying to do it in a way that will, entertain, but
and
ultimately educate at the same time.
Yeah. And knowledge is power. And if it starts from a young rooted age, that just helps, because it just helps children to flourish and to just be keen to learn and want to know even more, because it resonates and you're trying to pitch it to them with something that they're currently seeing within their environment already. It's not alien to them the way that you actually, the visual.
How many people, now when we were younger, you kind of go India every few years, right? That's become less and less for the next generation. That's true though, right? They may never go there, depending on, unless they're inspired to go there. So I remember someone watching this animation and they started crying. Like they really moved there. My children never been there. I've gone there, but my children have never been there, right? I'm like, wow. And I'm getting that experience of being there. I want my children would see this and be inspired to want to go. I'm actually inspired to go there. And that's, I thought, wow, I didn't realize that it was going to have that kind of effect.
Yeah.
But if that's all it does, it makes people want to go there and experience them on the side. It's such kind on earth. It's like the greatest place ever, right?
Yeah.
And that's, so for me, that's,
as soon as you walk there, there's a feeling which is just immeasurable.
It's right, yeah.
You can't, you can't put it into words.
You can't, yeah.
You can't. So
you walked out premises and you walked into the complex, and the energy just changes.
Yeah.
And that's what almost with the animation trying to replicate with the Gurbani, with the feeling, you're trying to get an iota of that feeling.
Yeah.
So people go, well, I want to go there, right? And spark the question with their parents: what is that place? What's that story about? Why did Simran do that? Why did he? And these questions are important. These sparking these conversations.
A lot of it now, like we are very, very, very lucky now, because before social media came across, like before even Facebook and YouTube and all that kind of, we didn't have that growing up ourselves.
That's right.
Like even now, like the effort that people are putting in, even with the daily quotes and putting up the posts and animation or anything, any and all of that is so appreciated. So you doing this on this scale is brilliant. I just think that, the more and more that we are seeing this and we are sharing good practice and, even obviously you've got your social media account as well, but just showing little snippets, it's just helping the Sikh Qawm grow.
Yes.
And for us to learn on a daily basis.
These tools are, what Gurus give us. And if you take it just to the basics, like you said about working honestly, about sharing, and remembering God, then principles, even that will save your life. That will take you to whatever, right? Yeah. So these are tools for life. You don't know what, you've seen it, mental health.
Yeah.
People that are suffering in relationships, in their households, at work, and whatever it may be. If that gives them some, solace and hope, they can, they lean into, be inspired. And actually, what? My guru is
Have faith.
You have faith, yeah. That's for me, like having,
That leap of
without faith,
faith,
there's nothing. You have nothing. And I feel there's an empty void in people that are missing out on those things. It's like having a child. When you've never had one, you don't know what the feeling is, right? When you've had a child, it's an experience.
Yeah.
You can't fully describe to anybody until you have that feeling.
Yeah.
Same with faith, I suppose. Like when you're in hard times, you have that to lean on. You want that for everybody else.
I think that with faith as well, there's believing it, but then there's experiencing it.
Yeah.
So when you experience those miracles, when you experience that light, then you just know you don't want to turn your back on that whatsoever.
Yeah. Look, I'm not here. Shouldn't be even here talking. That's the reality of it. But again, who am I? If I get criticised, then it doesn't matter. I'm a nobody anyway, so it makes no difference. That's truth, right? But the reality is that if you create resources and there's impact for children, if for example, a kid that would never read and know about the Gurus picks that book up and chanted Waheguru through the book, enjoyed the book, learned about the Gurus, right? That might start his journey off. Yeah. That might be the point that he actually asks the question, who's my Guru? And asks this question. So for me, it's about, it's like you said, it's, you create resources. It isn't, I don't want to be seen like I'm not the, I'm not the person to preach. I'm not sure.
No, 100%. We see that, it's not that. And I feel that no one should be offended because in this conversation, God knows how many times we've probably made so many mistakes and somebody's probably saying, they shouldn't have said this and they shouldn't have that. But we're not saying it from that. We're talking from the heart. Yeah. And with you, I just want to say a massive thank you for coming today, coming and sharing your journey, your wisdom, your creativity. And I appreciate it because I only gave you that one invitation. I was like, please come and, it'd be so good to share your good practice. And you are so humble and you're so down to earth. And that's probably why we connected because, that humility is just beautiful.
I would say you can judge a book by its cover in life. And I can tell this man, when you came down that day, you made the effort to come down. I can tell you about 30 other people that didn't.
Yeah. For me, I thought, whoa, this is a gateway for me to go and see something great.
You came down, you were that enthusiastic when you came in. You were that enthusiastic when you, and I could feel the energy inspired. You made me feel inspired.
Yeah.
And that's good energy, right? You inspire people to do more good, right?
Yeah.
You walked away and I thought, you know what? I felt, how great is Manny? And I genuinely meant that. I felt inspired. And that is a blessing. And these aren't just words.
We say thank you, Waheguru, to that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's why I wouldn't come on otherwise. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't make this effort to come down and expose myself and put myself in a situation. I don't like to do that. And I have to get forced. People know behind the scenes how much it takes me for me to want to do these things. But when you ask, I would never say no. The reason being that you came down. How could I not come down? When you said you got to share it, and this isn't about me, by the way. It's not, my story is irrelevant. The truth is that it's about the Seva.
Yeah.
So,
And I really appreciate the work that you're doing. I think it's just brilliant. And I think that, hopefully your team evolves and it gets bigger and bigger. And this is another thing as well. There could be somebody watching this and thinking, I want to be part of that team. I've got this skill set, and they could be like, I want to offer my server or their time, or, they might be able to promote, or they might be able to do something. They might script write. They might be able to see your vision and be part of that vision. And you know what I mean? And
that's right.
They might want to just lend themselves. So for me, that was the biggest thing. That's what I was saying. Like, you need to come, you need to share what you're doing.
I'm going to tell you something funny, right? Most people think, they come in thinking, we've got loads of money. And so the most people that come to us come for opportunities.
Yeah.
And what they don't realise, it might look great on the outside, but there's not this pot of gold. The reality is that you're putting every penny into kind of making these projects. So, and it's always been a great filter for me because, when people come in,
well, especially now that they've seen your new studio.
Most people are thinking, whatever. They don't realise that, I'm just sharing that studio, right? I'm just in there, but, it's getting funded, and the other guys that are working on independent projects. But, when Seva is a great thing, you got to come in and want to do it for the love of it. Yeah. And I genuinely, when people want to do that, it happens. Yeah. The great thing about Waheguru is Antarjami.
Yeah.
He's in and out. I know. And that's, when you come with good intention, always think good things happen.
He always gives back in
Always.
tenfold,
Always.
if not even more.
Yeah, look,
His plan's bigger than your plan.
I'm a great example. And I tell you, and the good and the bad, the tough times, just say, they're a blessing as well. And if you want to do Seva, it's not always, it's not always easy. If anything, you get tested very much along the way. But if you love it and you would definitely want to do something good and want to give back, then just do it. Just don't think about it. Do it.
Pritpal, thank you. You've been absolutely amazing. And again, thank you so much for coming, because I know that I didn't have to twist your arm, but I just love the fact that, you responded with brilliant energy and love.
I appreciate it, man. And thank you.
Pure love.
I couldn't say now. After you made you come down, how could I say no? Thank you, Manny.
Thanks, Pritpal.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and watching the Manicore TV podcast show. Leave a comment, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe. Catch you all on the next episode.
ਮਨੀ ਕੌਰ ਟੀਵੀ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਨੂੰ ਸੁਣਨ ਅਤੇ ਦੇਖਣ ਲਈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।